Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Conalwork.
It's the Drangru, low.
And folks, back to the monthly tournament for more coverage here. And mamma mia, we are on Brest West, and it's a civil war. Rang, what do we have? What's going on here?
Well, on the left-hand side in the blue, we have Farid Rommel playing 4th Alpina with a Maverick income. On the right-hand side in red, we have Babaryann playing the Italian Liberation Corps, also with a Maverick income.
So, we haven't seen Italian, the Italian sandwich over here in very long, which sounds like a very dirty sex act, but leaving plumbers out of it, what should we be expecting about this? Because this is kind of a unique distinction between these two.
Yeah, I think we've seen one Italian Civil War match like a few months back, but both divisions, are very fun. You got a whole mix of crazy equipment. Very infantry spam heavy. The Liberation Corps has better tanks, but a little less better fire support, while the Alpini has some nice cheap tank spam and some decent fire support as well. But it's pretty much just being an infantry spam matchup.
Indeed. It's actually kind of funny to look at the fact that the Liberation Army over here, we got Shermans, we got, 20 Shermans, seems like a lot. You're like, okay, that's a pretty good size amount in terms of tanks. And then you look at the Alpini and you're like, 55. Yeah, but those aren't real tanks. Like, it's one of those things you desperately want to go and just appreciate it.
Yeah, it's going to be the difficult part. For both sides, really, the Sherman can be deadly at close range, but when you have a whole horde of very cheap Italian tanks at close range, especially if you flank, they can kill a Sherman. It's not likely, but it's possible.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you say that, because it's one of those things that's like, statistically, yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
Reality, on the other hand, a little bit less so. I do love these 45 mil mortars we see at the bottom, the mountain mortars, the mountain tubes. Mm-hmm. Only thing I can think of in terms of like a close approximation would really be like those knee mortars that we see out of the Soviets.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good just due to its rather high fire rate. There is not really hitting anything now, unfortunately, a bit of a preliminary bombardment, but I believe Rommel will be trying to secure the far southern hill, which is a smart move. If you can fully secure it, you can get some good support guns there, and then you can start making your way down the hill and get 2 potential very juicy flags.
Exactly. We did see a bit of a... okay. So we do actually have some light anti-aircraft fire out already. Surprise, that's actually a very, very quick
pickup. Because that's the recon, the really cancerous War Thunder car. That also has anti-air capability. It's like one of the only recon units to have anti-air.
No, yikes. Not to be outdone, there is going to be some strafing to the northern side of things. 45 mil to the north is going to be a lot more effective than its brethren was down to the south. And let's not forget, there's a hefty chunk of radios in every direction from the mountain troops. I'm actually quite surprised by that sometimes.
Yeah, I think both sides do have access to some pretty decent artillery. Neither side really bringing out a whole lot. Mainly just more mortars and off-map artillery options.
Well, we're going to have a green-on-green situation. Sorry, green-on-green!
Oh.
Yikes! All right.
Oh, no, that's not good. He really screwed himself up. Yeah, he had decent momentum in that northern push, but yeah, blue on blue, not so nice. And these Paraducci are actually going to come in full flank, and he could actually do some serious damage.
Well, yeah, especially when you continue to have this ground strafing consistently here, and the Alpini Commandos, like, you can't lose those. Those are actually really quite solid.
Yeah.
30 points in the first place? Yikes, guys. Come on, you need that. Ugh.
Yeah, Baba's going to be able to, get back a foothold into that northern forest area. Looking at the rest of the map, the middle, of course, usually pretty quiet, but a lot going on in the sky. We got Italians on Italian.
Yeah, especially one of those is that ace pilot who...
Both races.
Oh, wait. Oh, you're absolutely right. I was thinking over here, sorry, red Italians, Marinera Italians. As opposed to, I have no idea what the heck would be a blue thing over here. But looking down to the south in the meantime, JU-87 making a gun run actually at this Sherman. This could be a pretty quick kill. Yep, there we go.
Yep, definitely need to be knocking out those Shermans, because those will be a nasty threat for Rommel to deal with. He just doesn't really have a lot of long-range anti-tank. He has 2 cards of PAG-40s, and then the P-26 has a chance, but it's not a nice chance in a head-on fight.
Yeah, it's kind of always funny when you see, like, it has a chance. It's not a good one, but statistically, it should be able to do it.
Yeah, statistically speaking, but we are seeing some anti-air being brought in from Babaryann's side to try and deal with all of these German planes, causing a lot of damage, and he is trying to regain some of the far southern hill territory, because he can't really afford to lose yet, because that just gives Rommel such a good, like, literal high ground position on that hill.
The problem is that if you're looking at the actual troops themselves, there's not much line of sight until you literally get on top of that hilltop. And even then, who cares? Because the first, like, 500 meters or so, it's all through the trees. It's all just a whole hunk of junk you don't want to deal with, ever.
Well, I think Rommel is going to be focusing a little bit more north of that southern hilltop with an off-map artillery strike. He doesn't really have a whole lot to follow up through, though, so...
He's got three squads of troops moving on in right now. Unfortunately, I love the idea. The issue, though, is you can see this right here, 60 km. Road speed. It's still going to be... Actually, he might have timed this out well. We'll see.
Yeah. It's going to be tight, but we're also seeing some more Italian support guns being brought in, the cheap 47 mils, and in fact, Staghound in position that can actually do a decent job of stopping this potential recruit push.
But now he's tipped his hand, though, too. And the Zippo lighters go up, so we do see both those flame troops go down. The Staghound, the Staghound's going to be a problem for a little bit, but again, I kind of wonder... If you look at the P-26 behind the... Ooh, never mind. He's realized that it's kind of a lost cause without moving that P-26 in.
Yeah, he really needs to get that fire support in, but it's going to be a bit dangerous for the P-26. There's 3 potential anti-tank killers here. Of course, not the best armor penetration characteristics on that weaponry, but the P-26 doesn't really have that much armor. Even though it's like one of the more heavily armored Italian tanks. Yeah, it does have a decent gun.
Well, to say there is one less. There is certainly one less. We're going to see another artillery barrage being called in within the next 45 seconds or so. You can see it right around that middle bulge going from east to west here. And northern side, we are going to see a put the Pack 40. Oh, he's engaging that L3.
Oh.
That's actually going to be a decent kill. It won't be. It's not a crazy weapons platform. It's just the radios that make it so damned important.
Yeah, you think for being a recon unit, he would see the shells coming towards him.
I think it's more of a vibe. It's like recon by using my own flesh, man. That's how you know I'm tough. So it's one thing after the other, I suppose.
But we're also seeing Rommel actually try to make some headway in the center here. He's got a decent amount of fly support from the hills, shooting down into the forest. And he's got a bunch more of those Alpine recruit troops moving on up. And this could be, his infantry's going to be a bit slow getting to the front line, but still, he has a decent chance of clearing out this central forest.
I think you misspoke, though. I think there's a mispronunciation thing, and I completely understand. Italian's a hard language to learn. I'm not sure it's those reclute. I believe that it's pronounced meat shield.
My apologies. My Italian is not so up to snuff.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't know if I didn't have Lady Khan in my life, but that's a different discussion altogether, I suppose. Farid Rommel, though, like you said, barrage coming on in, and I feel like the 172 off maps, there are people who subscribe to having bigger is better, but I feel like the 172 gives you a good amount of just value for it, and at the same time, a nice amount of just breadth across, and it's swift. You don't have this thing where a shell comes down and 30 seconds later another one decides to drop by for a cup of tea. Like, look at that. Pasted the entire area. 3 guys are down. That's worthwhile to me.
Yeah, it's like the Goldilocks level in off-map artillery. The 203s and the 380s are a lot of fun, especially when blowing up tanks, but the off-map artillery did exactly what it's needed to do, and now the infantry and the armored vehicles can actually make a decent push.
Also worth noting, the Shermans have not really been able to impose their will between the Pack 40s and the P-26s. There's one to the north that went down, there's one to the south went down, Ju-87 basically doing its thing. And I'm trying to see right now, yeah, there's another Sherman coming to the center, but there's an appalling lack of, let's say, how do I put this mildly? things don't live when they got treads. Yeah.
Or when they're shot at.
Yeah, certainly that for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the problems with the CLI is that you don't have like a bunch of cheaper tanks. Like, nice thing with Rommel's stack is that even though the tanks aren't as great, you're cheap, you can spam them out and get good frontal coverage. Well, the Shermans in this case are pretty much heavy tanks in this sort of matchup, and it's going to be harder for him to get them into good positions to provide fire support. They're very good fire support platforms, of course, with all the machine guns and the 75mm. But in a map like this, where it's a lot of heavy forested areas, you just can need cheap stuff which you can spread all over the place.
If I could change honestly one thing about the P26 is the fact that they have 8mm ammo for one, and the second thing is that they only have 600 rounds of it too. Like, they don't have a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, it's actually a low, considering like how much other tanks can hold. That is not a lot of ammunition. Maybe they weren't expecting to be in that long of a firefight.
I will say, I actually want to watch a nice little funny thing overall. Just watch what if Fury was a French film? Yeah, Squire's been knocking out of the park recently. I will say, there's some nice shots at everybody over there. I don't think this recon plan's going to make it out. He just made it out, didn't he? Yikes. Okay.
Yep.
Well, cool. We are over here into Phase B, and we haven't talked a whole lot about the tickets. And as of right now, Babaryann is certainly paying the piper for his entry fee.
Yeah,
down
Rommel
16-8.
Been doing a very good job of leading the momentum in this match so far. Like, the central push is going around down south. He's still contesting over. Oh, he's actually got both of the flags down
Yes,
south.
he does.
Which is pretty big. So he's been pretty much leading the charge in this battle, and it's not looking very good for Babaryann. I don't know. He doesn't really have like a decent force concentration in the area to do a counterattack.
Well, and I'm wondering if one of the things that's causing such a hassle here is actually those off-map barrages. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure something like between 8 and 10 infantry kills really happening here. It's been consistent, it's been off-map, obviously, and it's been very, very effective.
Yeah, he's been able to get a lot of territorial gains very quickly. He's probably starting to run out of off-map now, because he only really has that one recon plane.
Yep.
Yeah, he only had that one recon plane, so he's pretty much out at this point. So it's going to be about whether he can continue any more advances. So I say he might not need to, but Babaryann has been able to stabilize back to a 10-14. Okay, never mind, 9-15 now.
Oh, well, interestingly as well, we do see a Crusader on the field. Now, Crusader, of course, much better in terms of actually using anti-infantry as opposed to anti-air. At least that's always been my kind of big hang-up on the actual weapon system. But regardless, that will cut down on the efficiency of a lot of the air power that we've seen thus far. I mean, if we're going to Phase B, yeah, we have a couple Ariete. We have basically a couple light planes, light bombers, over on Rommel's side. And Babaryann, I feel like as it goes later and later, the air game really should be in his control.
Yeah, and he really needs to, because those Ju-87s are a massive threat to his Sherman tanks.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I'm watching as this infantry rush happens over here into this central town, as well as the bridgehead, literal bridgehead that's right there.
Yeah.
There's one pair de assalto, and other than that, he's rather a Scrudo, so we'll see what goes on here with this.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot of damage. To be fair, he does have 9 Beretta M38s, so we'll see how well he can hold the line.
Well, if the Alpini Fausts weren't the first ones into the fight, it would have been a lot shorter, let me tell you that.
Yeah. He's got some Maros like backed up, yeah, but he needs to bring him onto the front line to hold that bridgehead. You really can't afford to lose that little town, because it's very hard to get across the bridge once the enemy has solidified a position, yeah.
True. We want this a little bit further north of that. There's a tentative counterattack kind of happening here, but Alpini Commandos, again, proving their worth. It's a 30-point squad, but sniping from there, I mean, really, really solid.
Yeah. Yeah, actually holding down that push for a little bit. But Babaryann, I do like his push location. He's getting the Shermans up. He's got more of the paratrooper, I believe those are paratrooper troops, and they are pretty well equipped, the 2 Brens. So maybe he can push through here and regain territory, because Rommel's line is starting to look a little bit weak in the center.
Weak, yes, but let's think about where the collection of material still is. He still has those pack 40s that control maybe not as dominant position as you might ideally want. They can still reach out and touch somebody pretty easily. Like right there, Parakadututsi goes down. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I've been a bit under the weather. At 25 points, just like that. He's got a pack 40 to the north that's pretty much out of ammunition. Actually, I think he literally just died. But how often does that happen? Pack 40s attract death like death.
Right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen the artillery being fired onto that position, and I think Rommel has called in a lot of his pack 40s already. And he only has 8 of them in total in his deck, and once he loses them, that's a lot of long-range firepower. And Babaryann is now starting to pound him one by one, so I feel like he can slowly grind down the firepower off this hill, and that will allow him to continue a central push, because he has the infantry to... Yeah, he's actually making pretty good progress here. It's still a 9-15, because down south it's going to be a whole other kettle of fish.
Yes, it certainly does seem to be the case. Central position, yep, ME410s. Actually, the ME410 movement, the recon planes themselves have been very, very good in this match thus far. And one thing I will have to say, though, is I don't see the same danger in losing those pack 40s as you do. Yes, you do have potential 11 Shermans coming over here in C, but there's still a potential 24 M14s.
Yeah.
Are they stellar? Nah, not necessarily. We also have the JU-87s making runs in, and watch, the JU-87 is going to pick up at least one of these. Here it comes. Any second now.
Get the Stackhound.
Got 2.
Gets the Sherman. Yeah, he really needs to get some more anti-air, because those Shermans are going to be critical for keeping up those pushes.
Yep, I certainly agree with you there, sir. No, you're right. The Maros, in the meantime, central position. The Maros have held the line. And
one Maro rushing up the hill, killing the pack 40. The other pack 40 also go... That's not bad.
Not bad at all. And Alpini's kind of saying, wait, are those our guys? Well, they're Italians. That doesn't change anything, guys. Get like...
Must have been very confusing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Central position is back into Babaryann's... yikes. There's a 45mm mortar that is so close to the opponents, he can actually hear them speaking Italian.
Yeah, it's a real danger close position.
They will die very quickly, and very badly for that matter.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, these mortars continue to save them, but that's a bit of a long ask.
We're seeing Babaryann do another resurgent push down south. He's got a whole heap of infantry and Crusader AA leading the charge. He's very close to retaking that one flag by the road. Renault's Alpini Faustco down. He pretty much should try to go for the far southern hill first, get a foothold in there, and then try to push up north to get back one of the flags. Where it was Alpini Alpini meat shields, my bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Learning Italian every day.
Exactly. Linguini, pasta, tarantella, meat shield. Yeah, it's all in the roll. So, Maros are going up the hill though, and for half a second I thought there actually might be a chance to hold this. No, never mind. There's no leadership here. There's just the old 1-2 that we're used to.
Yeah, now as we're seeing in B phase, Babaryann is getting the infantry advantage because his infantry is just much better quality coming into B phase. Those recruit troops are decent at pushing ground when you have a bunch of off-map artillery firing array, but with that firepower gone, they just cannot hold up to snuff against the other Italians.
That said, we still are going to see a light tank push, or excuse me, an Italian battle tank push of 6 different tanks engaging this anti-air positions. I mean, in this 1-by-1, this will go and cause enough hassles that they can't do jack about it right now.
Yeah, and Babaryann doesn't have a whole lot of tanks in position to really engage him head-on, because you need to just use Shermans in open ground to engage those M15s, but he's not really in that position to do that. And we're seeing Rommel is, spamming out all the light tanks. He's got them all over the place as well as the armored cars. Exactly what he needs to be doing, because they can hold back those infantry pushes.
Of course, that said, when you have an anti-air weapons platform that can take out the scout cars leading the charge, well, yeah, that's still going to cause some hassles.
Yeah.
But the Crusader's almost out of ammunition. And who wastes time reloading material for a Crusader? It just isn't done. So, regardless. Down south, too, we are going to see mortar rounds are starting to impact that town, as well as you can see a bunch of troops are expected to be there pretty darn quickly.
Oh, and that recon plane. I think the Crusader AA is actually going to use this AA rule to effect. Well, actually, it should be able to shoot him. I mean, kill him. But no, the recon plane is actually quite tanky in that engagement.
Mm-hmm.
There's a second recon plane.
I think they're just unmasking it for the time being, because you can see the Ju-87 is being brought in to take it out. You have the Ivan Drago over here, or whatever the heck the Italian version of that might be. And he's going to get a kill, too. Almost for sure. Oh, he loses sight on it! But you know what? They do get a kill on that fighter pilot. The ace does go down. His cards have run out. The Ju-87, he dies too, but I will trade a Ju-87 for an ace pilot.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting trade between both sides. The Crusader AA finally actually, getting its job done. But yeah, we're in C phase now, so things are starting to slow down as both sides only have their 80-point income. And Rommel is still holding the line. He's got that 14-10. Babaryann has made some decent pushes, but he hasn't been able to really flip the momentum of the match for his advantage. There's too much just light Italian tank spam all over the place.
True. And you're right to say that the Maros are better. You're right to say really the entire, Italian Liberation Army is better. Problem with that is, if you don't have enough guys to hold the line, what does it matter if you can, bring in higher quality troops if I can outnumber you 4-2 or 4-3? Eventually numbers do tell, and looking over here, this is where we see 40% of the infantry is over here for Farid Rommel.
Yeah, just looking at the map, zooming out, there's not a whole lot left alive on Babaryann's side, just in total. I mean, if you look all the way up north, we've got a huge collection of angry Axis Italians on the hill, while Babaryann down on the ground is... I mean, he has a Sherman, of course, which can do a lot of damage, but he doesn't want to peek out because there's 90... Oh yeah, they have the 90mm, and I forgot about that. That's like a deadly anti-aircraft, anti-tank weapon.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the 9053? Yeah. Yeah, the thing is shockingly good. Almost as good as that 17-pounder engaging those freaky-dink tanks. But regardless, we're also going to see Bren's rush to the north, and I think it's a little bit too close over here for the mortars, but Alpina could always get in there. Probably not, though.
Yeah. Pick up some good mortar kills here. Definitely will leave a little bit of pressure. Yeah, the second mortar going to be able to get some shots off.
Yeah, they're so close, though. I kind of get the feeling it's almost like that scene in Saving Private Ryan where they prime it by just hitting the... I don't know.
The helmet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a resurgent push as well. I don't know, man. I feel like this is on its last legs here.
Yeah, I feel Babaryann had a pretty good thing going on in the middle of B phase, but it's not looking good for him anymore.
No, it is not.
So yeah, let's take it times through at 2410.
2410, aye sir. And that's kind of what the deal is out here too. I mean, it was a novel idea. I loved seeing the Italians fight against each other, but I feel like the off-map artillery, that in my mind, I think kind of unseated some of the, let's say, allied Italian positions. I feel like that was a big issue. I don't think it was surmounted at all. Mm-hmm.
Like, great use of the off-map of actually, following up after dropping. That's how you should be using off-map. Unless you're, in a very poor defensive position and you're getting attacked by a rather large enemy force. But in those early stages, I mean, all he had is that one off-map artillery unit, single plane, but he got his value and the end sum out of that one off-map.
He absolutely did.
Is that... Oh, it's going to try and bomb that artillery unit all in the back line, but the anti-air had something to say, and by something to say, I mean flak ammunition.
I've been too busy watching as these the Kayakano 1891s start to engage with Maros. They're just like, guys, I can't even fire at anything outside this zip code. It's really been unfortunate because I truly, truly thought that the Shermans would be a little bit more important than what they've been.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to get into a good position. Like the Pack 40s, you know, there's not a whole lot of them, but they're in, you know, those very nice hilltop areas, which allows them to zone a lot of the map. So the Shermans had to, you know, you couldn't be as aggressive as the Shermans as usual.
Certainly true. Now we are going to see the Sherman occasionally pick up some kills. That's nice. Unfortunately, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's too damn late. And that JU-87 went down with too much time to go. So the Morrow, in the meantime, getting absolutely shellacked by that scout car. And other than that, as we kind of take down the last few seconds here, well played over here to Farid Rommel. Earlier on, it did not look quite as successful because you're right. That quality was stellar. But just going to parlay it. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, just standard 1000 KD difference, so nothing too crazy. And then on the kill side, really, yeah, nothing that interesting on the kill side.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of troops that are able to take out some, like, rinky-dink Alpina Reclutes. We have a 57 mil that did well, but, like, again, it's a slap fight. It's a slap fight, and unfortunately, Warfield over here got a number of good kills. And today, Rommel came out ahead. He just came out ahead. So it was really, really well done. And, yeah, any final thoughts, sir?
Yeah, no, not really.
Well, folks, in that case, then, that's going to conclude our coverage for today. Until Thursday, I'm Connellberg.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.